Welcome to 24/7 Sports. I'm National Analyst Tom Loy alongside Director of Scouting Andrew Ivins and National Analyst Blair Angulo. Signing day is right around the corner. We are going to do a class breakdown. We will start with the Tennessee Volunteers. Andrew, let's go to you first. Give me your ready-to-play guy headed to play for Tennessee.
Tom, it's our boy Big Squish. Gabe Osenda, the Canadian-born offensive tackle there in Tennessee. I think this guy is going to have a chance to contribute year one as a true freshman. Tom, Blair, we continue to see it with these high-profile offensive linemen, whether it's a tackle, whether it's a guard. These guys are being thrust into action very early. And to me, Gabe Osenda, he fits what Tennessee wants to do up front. Devastating power in the run game. He fits a gap scheme. We're talking about a kid 6'7", over 330 pounds, and he's done it the past 2 years, facing really good competition there in the Volunteer State. We also got him last year at the Navy All-American Bowl in San Antonio, where he was a young pup announcing his commitment to Tennessee. And we've continued to be big fans ever since then.
I like Celeste Moa as my candidate to see the field right away for the Tennessee Volunteers. Maybe not the biggest prospect, very slight in build, but he's super electric. Probably the best pass catcher we've seen out of the state of Utah since Puka Nacua. We all know that name. He also plays for the same 7-on-7 organization. He's the son of former Utah tight end Ben Moa, who played under Urban Meyer. And so that was a huge recruiting victory for the Volunteers to go into the Beehive State to pull in a legacy prospect like Celeste Moa. And I'd be shocked if he didn't see the field right away, because he's such a fluid route runner. He's electric with the ball in his hands from a high point standpoint, and his ability to play above the rim, as we like to say. I don't know if there's anyone as good as he is out west. We talk about Tristan Keys and everything he's going to bring to that class. I think Celeste Moa is going to be able to be a nice complement for him in the future. And I think his electricity and his production is going to be too much to keep him off the field there in Knoxville.
Blair, you just brought up Tristan Keys. He's my ready-to-play guy, the 5-star wide receiver that we have ranked as the #1 receiver in the class of 2026. Look, Ivans, you always say it's a height, weight, speed game, and Tristan Keys has all of that and more. So he's a difference maker in every sense of the word. That connection with quarterback Faison Brandon is going to be fun to watch for the next couple of years. I just brought up Faison Brandon, the quarterback commit, the 5-star headed to play in Knoxville. Andrew, take this however you want, but we want to kind of look at the quarterback. Tell us about Faison Brandon.
I think, just like I said with Gabe Osenda, perfect fit for what Josh Heupel wants to do. Tom, before we hit record on this, I was watching Faison in the state playoffs, and I'm like, yep, that's the throw he's going to make in Josh Heupel's system. A little RPO action, hit the end breaker. Next thing you know, it's a touchdown. This is a guy we've been high on from the jump in the class of 2026. He was a long time our #1 player in the class. Now he sits #2. I read the headlines. I see the tweets. You guys don't like him anymore. That's far from the case. We love Faison Brandon. Here's the reality. He got hurt. He missed a majority of his senior season, injured the thumb in the opener, but he injured that thumb on a touchdown run to give his team an overtime victory. Tom, I thought he was going to shut it down. Blair, right? I didn't think we were going to see any of Faison Brandon until he was in a Tennessee uniform. Well, what does he do? He returns in the state playoffs. There's a good chance he's going to lead Grimsley to another state championship. He could head to college with a 35-1 record as a high school starter on Friday nights. I think the biggest thing for us is, losing those reps during the senior season. You like to see a kid who's been in a ton of different situations face some adversity, and we'll see how the next few weeks go. But I think for Tennessee, this is the guy of the future. Think about a Hendon Hooker, right? But maybe a little bit better as a passer, maybe a little more athletic than Hendon Hooker. So Tennessee's got a really good one. And I think it's a perfect fit for what Josh Heupel wants to do.
When we were dissecting what Josh Heupel was going to be able to do, especially at the quarterback position, when he arrived from UCF and he makes a huge splash, landing Nico Iamaleava, you think, oh, the quarterback room in Knoxville and in Rocky Top is going to be well taken care of here for the next few years. Obviously, the transfer portal had a different say in that, but I think Faison brings a lot of steadiness. You touched on it, Andrew. I think his toughness, right, coming back and playing right before signing day, kind of speaks volumes. He could have just said, "Hey, I'm good. I'm just going to get ready for college. I need to get back to full strength and full health before I get to Knoxville." But that was kind of far from what he wanted to do. And obviously him getting back on the field shows a lot about his character, his work ethic. And that's the type of player that they're going to be able to land there and get into that quarterback room. Going to bring some steadiness. I think he's a very under control passer. Maybe something that a lot of Tennessee fans complained about when the former 5-star Nico Iamaleava was there at Rocky Top. I think he's going to bring a different dimension, under control, making the throws he has to make, and then taking off and making things happen with his legs when he can as well.
Yeah, I mean, what is there to say that we haven't said about him here over the last 12 months, 24 months? He's an all-time favorite of mine. We found him early. We put him on this pedestal. We saw the meteoric rise. Everybody else played catch-up. It was so fun to watch. Shows up in San Antonio at the underclassmen combine, balls out, doesn't need to. I mean, the kid is a competitor in every sense of the word. But let me just add this. Like, Tennessee fans, be very grateful. This was very close to not going your way. Alabama almost got this done when he first committed to the Vols. It was really back and forth. So just a little nugget there. I want you guys to understand, and Faison would say, like, this was super close for him landing in Tuscaloosa, but a huge win for Tennessee. Ivans, look, this is a little unique for you. You are the leader of our scouting, but let's look at an underrated player. Who's a guy that you think actually could outperform his current ranking?
Well, he's kind of ranked a little bit high, so I guess I'm cheating. But Joel Wyatt, the in-state athlete committed to Tennessee, is he a wide receiver? Is he a defensive back? Is he a linebacker? Is he a potential edge rusher? I don't really know, but I think in this era of football where the positional lines continue to blur, you take a Joel Wyatt and you just figure it out at some point down the line. I think he's an overhang defender. I think he's one of these guys where, hey, first and second down, he can, shadow passing lanes. He can jump in front of routes. And then on third down, hey, let him go after the quarterback. Use him on the outside blitz. Rush him up the middle. To me, Joel Wyatt, I think he just does so many different things. He's the elite in one singular category right now. Probably not. But, hey, I'm going to bet on the 6'5" guy with the 94 speed score from Next Gen Prospects, with the 93 explosion score for Next Gen Prospects. Tom, hey, the comp for me is Sonny Styles there at Ohio State, right? And, he was the same thing, big safety. Some people thought maybe offense with him. Now he's settled in, and he's a starting linebacker for one of the top defenses in all of college football. So to me, Joel Wyatt, I think where we have him, this is a guy that's got a round one ceiling if it all comes together.
Drew, from one Joel to another, I like Joel Combe, the 3-star safety from the state of Georgia, a triple high jumper and a triple jumper and a high jumper as well in the track and field sector. I like the way he's able to parade there in the back half of the secondary. He's kind of a hunter. He goes after the football. I love the way he's able to attack and high point things in traffic. A willing tackler as well in space, a player that can kind of charge up field. I really like what he's able to do in space. So when you think about his skill set and just the need for Tennessee in the secondary in this class, this is a player I could see making an impact early on in Rocky Top.
For me, it's top 100 linebacker Braden Rouse. Look, he's the number 81 overall player, number 7 at linebacker. You can't get too much higher, but I just think this is a guy that has the potential to be a first-round pick down the road. Great versatility, athleticism. His motor is off the charts. I mean, this is a guy that Tennessee fans need to be excited. I want to show a little love to a guy that the Tennessee staff actually thinks is one of the more underrated guys in the country, and that's 3-star defensive lineman Darrell Rivers. One source called him an absolute monster. So another guy that Tennessee fans should be fired up about. Let's wrap it up. Let's look at the biggest takeaway. You can take this however you want. Give me something that really pops for you with this class, Andrew.
I think Tennessee's got its bookend tackles of the future. And one of them we're seeing play here as a true freshman in David Sanders, the former 5-star. He's a little dinged up to begin the season. No one's really talking outside of, I think, the Tennessee faithful, how good David Sanders has been as a youngster, as a rookie. And now they got Gabe Osenda, who I think is the perfect right tackle. Again, these guys can fit into that zone scheme. They are big towers, and they complement each other well in terms of where you want to run the football. It's behind Osenda. The guy protecting potentially Faison Brandon's blind side is going to be David Sanders. You can also throw Kamari Blair, the top 247 offensive tackle, into the mix, a huge riser for us. So I think for Tennessee, you have seen an adjustment in terms of their philosophy when it comes to building out this offensive line. This is a team that, a few years ago was very heavy in the transfer portal. A Lance Hurd, a John Campbell from Miami. Those guys come with a huge price tag. Now, the 5-star big boys like Osenda and Sanders do as well. But I think it makes sense for Tennessee, right, to bring these guys in and let them grow in your offense, let them grow inside your facility. And, it sets it up just like in the NFL draft. It isn't sexy getting those big bodies up front, but they're so important and they can unlock a ton of things. And I think for Tennessee, again, I think they got their book in tackles. It's taken 2 classes to do it. Not a lot of schools around the country can say that.
And Drew, to piggyback off of your point on Osenda, he's an in-state prospect, and they did a lot of work in the state of Tennessee this cycle. 9 commitments. When you look at the state rankings, 5 of the top 7 players are going to play for the Vols. The other 2 are currently committed to Georgia. So they did the dirty work where they had to, and that was to lock in their state. That was a big question mark. If you remember, when Josh Heupel came over, we wondered, how is he going to fare on some of these heavyweight recruiting battles in the SEC when there are other programs trying to come into your state, try to pull in recruits? How are you going to go and do in the state of Georgia? They got also 5 commitments there. So that's a big takeaway for me is the fact that they're now fully ingrained, roots on the ground, and they're knocking it out of the park with a lot of the in-state prospects, not letting them leave home.
Blair, you and I are on the same page. I love that they recruited from the inside out, landed many of the top in-state prospects, especially in the trenches. I mean, I look at a state like Mississippi, and all of these guys are leaving the state. They're not going to Ole Miss. They're not going to Mississippi State. But that cannot happen in a talent-rich state like Tennessee. So really, really good job by the Vols this cycle. That wraps it up. Tennessee fans, you got a really good class coming to town. But for Andrew Ivins and Blair Angulo, I'm Tom Loy. Thank you for watching.